Okay, so we are going to do a Piper pipe and flower kit. Material list here, we have 2 quarts of titanium white heavy texture. We have our permanent green artist color, dowel rod yellow, phthalo blue, naphthol red, titanium white base coat. So I start by just pouring about half of the base coat right onto the panel. And we're gonna begin this by covering the entire panel with our base coat. We're gonna slightly tint our base coat with just a hair of the dowel rod yellow. A little smidge of yellow to warm this up. And that pretty much did it right there. So you wanna be really careful with that. We're gonna coat the whole thing. We're gonna make sure we get the sides. Putting it in kind of thick on there, and that's okay. So what's nice about this base coat, when you do put it on thick, you don't need a lot of coats. Put a little bit more on here. We're gonna be doing a composition where about 75 to 80%, could be more of it's gonna be covered with the texture flowers. It's gonna have a pattern. With this white down here on the bottom, I wanna have just like a small gradient pulling up. I'm gonna put just a hair of this permanent green down here. This stuff is super strong too, so you wanna be really careful with it. And I'm talking just a smidge. So you see that nice light minty color there? And you're gonna just kind of see just a little bit on the brush. This is just a minor accent, and you can really overdo this. So I have this on the brush, you can see how light that is. And I'm just gonna kind of feather it up from the bottom. Light feathering up. Give it a little bit of contrast against the white. Go ahead and put it on the top too. Even though it's going to be covered, it won't hurt. So it's still dominant white, and that's it. Okay, while this is drying, we're going to prepare our pastry bags. So we're going to start with our quintuple tip, and this is a Russian tip, and what's cool about this tip, it's a one and done. It pipes out a whole flower at one time. Kind of really nice spikes in the middle of it. So we're gonna drop it in the bag, just kind of like that. Don't force it in. There we know that's where it's gonna sit, and we're just gonna push it back a little bit. And the key is on this, you don't wanna cut it back too far up, because if you cut it too far, it'll slide right out. So it's better to go, a little, not cut enough, so it doesn't. And that's almost a perfect cut, just like a millimeter from the base of the tip there. So that's pretty much perfect. Another thing about getting your bag ready is to build a collar in it like this. So that way you can hold it and it gives a little rigidity to the opening on top to put your paints in. And you can hold it here like that. It's like a little handle. These other tips, they have sides. So it's like, this is a half. You want to line up with the seams here. And if you don't get it right when you get in, you can just move it around once you get it in there. But just get those end seams meeting up with those end corners meeting up with these seams. And again, try not to cut it too far. That one went to about there. You don't want to go much past that. Get the collar on this one ready to go for filling. Drop the leaf tip in. Again, making sure that the edges there are facing the seams. Pushing it down. Give it a cut. It's a hair too short. I'm gonna pull it back out and just give it another maybe 1.5 millimeters cut. Make sure that those seams are lined up with the corner, and that's pretty much just right there, okay? Making that collar. By the way, this will be the first one we use. We're gonna mix our greens in there. And then we have our petal tip. Flat sides, we're gonna go into the corner there. Cut it out. Perfect. So we're gonna make our green on the palette, and so we get the color just right. So we put a nice dollop of permanent green. And over here beside it, we'll put this dollar rod yellow. And what this yellow is gonna do, it's gonna tame this green. You can see this is the color of green when you add white. But this is gonna warm this green up a little bit. You kind of go to your preference, you know, but you can see right there, it's already turning into a nice warm green. And a way to test this, if you want to test it, what it's going to look like when it bleeds through, put yourself a little bit of white down here, and you can just, when you mix it or run it over, you're going to see what it's, you know, with the lighter white over it, you can see what it's going to look like. And that's looking pretty good, but I'm going to warm it up a little bit more. This one here, we're just gonna fill it, you know, just get these dollops of green in there, try and get it down close to here. And then what you're gonna do is you're just gonna move it around and make sure it gets all in the bag. Keep it kind of low, you don't wanna waste that paint, so keep it, you know, way down here. What we're gonna do is we're gonna fill it with white, and as the white passes through, it's gonna capture the green. Okay, so I've got this collar here again so I can hold it and I can just start piping the paint in there. So I've got it all pushed down and I'm just gonna squeeze it in there. Squeeze a little bit more in there, a little bit more in there. We're gonna use a lot of green. At this point here, you can see the white is all up here. I'm gonna tamp it down. This is the key here. You know, you've got to do this with confidence and get these little bursts of energies to get these nice, you know, vibrant, voluptuous petals. You know, we don't want them wimpy and craggy. We want them just plump and fresh. This is really important, is to keep this twisted and tight. So when you apply pressure here, it comes out really well. And you got to give it these little bursts of energy like that. You can pull up on it or lay it down. Basically, what's gonna happen here, I'm gonna make a slight kind of composition line of what we're gonna follow. And it's gonna come down further, but this gives us just a good point of reference. It's all gonna be covered, so it really doesn't matter there, but if you wanna just get that green under there, it probably won't hurt either. This is, like I said, this will all be covered. But this will give us a nice foundation. We're gonna just start like a quadrant at a time. I'm gonna have green petals going all the way around the sides, so when we put our flowers in, we know they'll be encapsulated in this green. Kind of going over the edge there, looks kind of nice. We have this whole thing framed out in the green, and we're gonna prepare for our pink flowers. Okay, so here's the ruffle. We've gotta build our kind of pink color that's going to go in there. We're going to tame this Naphthol red down a little bit with some white. We might warm it up with a little, just a hair of the dial-a-rod yellow, so it you know, we'll see what it looks like and how pink we want it. You know, this is pretty vibrant right there. You can keep it that deep red if you want. You know, it's just however you really want to do it, and the colors that you like. It's what's important. But also what's important is just keeping like a nice compositional color balance. I'm gonna take a little bit of the yellow here, put it over here and kind of see what it does. It's giving us a nice warm pink. Put a little more yellow on there. And I think that's probably gonna be good. We're only gonna put the color on half of this bag. We're not gonna switch it around like the last one. This concave side is going to be the inside, the curve of the petal, and this is going to be the outside. So we're going to leave this side without paint and put the color on this inside. So we're going to lay it down to the concave side, and we're going to take this pink color we made, and you see how the bag is keeping its shape, and we're just going to put it on half the bag. It doesn't have to be perfect, you know, but try not to let it collapse on itself. Got half with the pinkish red color, and half clear. The titanium white in here. We're gonna tamp it down. We're gonna twist it, always twisting and getting it really tight. And always just do your practice on here first. And again, it's those nice bursts of energy, just like that, okay? As we start laying this down, the outer ones are gonna be a little bit flatter, but as we get in, we're gonna start trying to pull them up. So they stick up like that. Hope that makes sense. Okay. We're gonna try and fill this circle here. It's not gonna be this wide, but here we go. We just keep going around and getting tighter and tighter, making a tighter and tighter circle. There you have it, there's the first flower. That one came out pretty good, it's standing up really good. We're gonna do the blue flower with the petal tip here. We're probably gonna put one right here. So let's go ahead and start that process. Make our blue. So this is a phthalo blue. It's a very vibrant blue. So you can use our white here. Thin it out, so you can see what the blue is gonna start looking like. Actually, let's just go ahead and put up some texture in here. So we're just add a little bit of blue at a time in here, because this stuff is really strong. It's a very strong pigment. And we just kind of get the blue that we desire here, what we like in it. It's a very vibrant blue. We're also gonna warm this blue up a little bit with a little bit of green. I got a little red in there, but it's such a small amount, it's not gonna mess with it there. I think I like that blue right there. Another way you could do is you can just hold it up there and say, does that look good together? So we're gonna put both of these colors in the bag. This is gonna be the tip of the flower, the skinny part. And there's where we can either choose, we want it to be a little dark or a little light. I'm gonna clean this knife off so I can just get a really clean line of blue in there. So now that my knife is clean, I'm just gonna get it just a little bit on this edge right here. See how it's just covering that. And I'm gonna run this along this seam right here. That's gonna be the top of the thin part of the petal there. So I'm gonna stick it in there and just run it along that seam. Okay? And then the dominant color is gonna be this blue. And then I'm just gonna put a stripe of white on the other side. And then we're gonna fill it with the blue. So I'm gonna take some white and I'm just gonna put it here on the base. So I've got white on one side and the darker blue on the other side. And then I'm just gonna fill this blue we made right inside. And it doesn't matter if I got a little green in there towards the end, because it'll kind of look cool in the end. The colors start changing. It looks like these naturally different flowers. You're tamping it down, getting that all out of there. And you're testing it here. Dark on top. Just kind of test this here until the dark starts coming out. It's funny, the light's coming out, but that's okay. It'll eventually come out. And what's cool about this is the way these colors are, they'll eventually come out different as it comes along. We'll see what happens here. Sometimes you get what you get. We're gonna try and fill up right to this corner here, just touching that one. We're gonna start in the center. There, so there, that dark blue is coming out on the top. And just kind of just keep going around, make this kind of rose pattern. We're just gonna keep repeating these over and over again, all the way around. Okay, so the next one, we're gonna have kind of these yellow peachy colors. We're gonna make this color, put the dialride and a little bit of naphthol here. We're gonna make 2 piles because we're gonna make 2 different colors. Make sure your knife is clean for mixing. Get the blue off of there. We're gonna start mixing this one with the yellow, which is kind of creamsicle, peachy yellow. Doesn't have to be perfect because it'll show these nice variegations coming through. And we're gonna put some of the naphthol in here and get some pink. We're gonna put a little bit of yellow in that so it's not too candy pink. A little bit more red. A little bit more yellow in this one. We're just gonna get a random pattern coming out of this one. I'm just gonna put scoop in, and a scoop in, and a scoop in. So I got pretty much one side, but it's not gonna be perfect. Put a scoop of yellow, scoop of pink. I'm kind of still putting them side by side, but it's not perfect. But these will come out all kind of swirly and fun like. Okay, so the same thing here, we're gonna tamp this down. These right here, you gotta get this nice firm pull. And you can see how that center comes out. You can see those nice 2-tone colors there. I'm gonna turn this around so it'll be easier for you to view. I'm okay, it doesn't matter if I'm painting upside down or not. Works out that way. And so I'm gonna kind of fill in right here in this corner. And this one, I want them to have nice tall spikes. And I think that's good for there. So now we have our primary 3 flowers plus the leaves, and we just kind of start repeating these steps over and over. You have to be very firm with this, otherwise they get very kind of dumpy. So now I'm building on each one and seeing what we can do. Let's see, let's put another pink one right here. And see how these are all pulling up? You want that, the key is keep this tight and then those little bursts of energies and pulling up on it. I'll try and do that a little slower and show you next time. We're gonna build up some leaf just right in here. And let's put a blue one right here, kind of leaning up over this top edge here. And you can't really see right here, but I have a spot that's kind of bare, so I'm gonna add one more of these. And that's kind of cool now, it's sticking out over the top edge. I'm just going around and looking, where do I fill? So I could fill the little peaches right here. Bringing them out over the edge there. I'm gonna do this corner with some leaves. Leave a little room for maybe one dollop in there. You can see how this is just kind of building out. Let's bring some leaves in right here. And you see how I'm like purposely didn't go over the side. It shows a lot of texture, you know. You can always add one there. It just really shows a lot of the depth there. I'll do a blue one right there. You see, I'm just you know, I don't have this thoroughly planned out, but I am just figuring out as I go. It's like, where's the next spot that needs to be filled? can see I didn't finish that corner, but that's okay. I'm gonna put something in there to fill that corner and just kind of overlapping it. We'll do a little peachy in there. Maybe another little leaf going around that one. And we'll do a pink one right here. Now we're getting down to the bottom edge. You know, it'd be really important to know how we'll finish things out, you know, once we get down to the bottoms, and if we want things to get smaller. It's looking good. Let's go ahead and finish out this taper down and figure out, I think, these little peaches here. I'm gonna add a little bit more white paint. And so they might get a little bit more pale as you add more paint, as it thins through, but that's okay because it gives it just a natural look that some flowers, you know, are more vibrant than others. I'm gonna go ahead and just make my bottom here and work my way in. I'm liking it. I probably should put a blue one in there. Again, I didn't really mean to, but it happened. So that bottom one is just not finished out, but that's okay. I'll fill that in. Maybe one of the peaches here. You can see here that this is the bottom. You can start pointing them down like they're hanging. That's what I did there. Like they're hanging. I can do the same thing with like a leaf that's like trailing down. Probably just gonna add one more little edge into there to kind of fill that space. That looks good. And I'm probably not gonna I'm gonna bring this one all the way down, maybe dripping, and I'm gonna stop this one here. It kind of has a little bit of asymmetry to it. It's not just like a perfect arch coming down. So I'm gonna go ahead and fill this space. I'm gonna go ahead and add a little bit more paint in here. So I got a little bit more titanium white in there. Again, I'm pulling up on this, trying to give it a lot of height. Now, see, that one kind of fell. And then the ones down here, I'm gonna kind of just let it kind of pull down a little bit, like it's dripping down with gravity there. So like I said, I'm gonna stop this one here. I'm just gonna put my leaves, fill it in, and then I can fill that in with whatever colors I want to. Put a little peachy in there. So that kind of got a little messed up there. I'm gonna add a little leaf in there. Now, kind of got, you know, just put a little bit more pink in there. Just gonna get a little, not do a full flower there, but just get a little bit of accent of blue in there. Put some more white in here, and I'm gonna start filling in the sides now, because I have a little extra paint here. And I'm gonna do it dominant in green and then fill it in with random colors. The green gives it a nice frame. I'm not gonna do really big flowers, but like nice little pink accent here on the side, like a little mini flower. Now I gotta make sure that that complements itself out there. And it's nice now now the green is coming out a little bit white. It gives it a nice variegated look, which I like. So I'm just gonna come across the top here, just fill all this in with some green. I'm gonna pull some of the green up in because the lighter green, so it balances in, which looks really nice now. I like the lighter green kind of balancing out the deeper green. Put the last bit of white in this green bag here. Tamp it down. Nice. Little accents of color. A little accent of blue in here. Just a little spiral. Well, I think it's a little funky right here. You're gonna need to get some more pink. This flower, they got kind of buried in there. Not a big deal. Looking good. Let's get a little